church was so against everybody being able to interpret the Bible for themselves.
I got the thing, Tony. Um, they didn't want people to.
Not until John the Baptist uh, basically did it behind their back and started teaching people how to read and how to. Um, and so then you had a bunch of factions off of Catholic religion who Baptists came from, but the Baptists at that time were like more like that you don't own anything, you don't own any property, you don't own nothing whatsoever. The church owns it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that stuff. All right, y'all have a great afternoon.
You
Morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, it's after 9 o'clock. You heard the music, so you know what time it is. It's time for the workplace here exclusively on KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people community radio. I'm your host for the workplace, Toney Orr, and as always, my fierce, vivacious, strong co-host is in the studio with the Reverend Dr. Denise Darnell. How you doing this morning, Denise?
Grand Rising humans.
Oh, you know what? It has been a busy, busy week. A lot of things have been going on. Um, got an opportunity to meet a lot of different people about a lot of different situations. And just want to touch on some things today. But before we get started, do you have any announcement for me?
I do have several announcements. Juneteenth in the Rock affiliate jazz concert featuring Miles Davis's Kind of Blue album and more. The entry is free and it's happening June 18th. That's next Thursday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. outdoors at the ASO Music Center. ASO is for the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra, and that's at 1101 East 3rd Street, 1101 East 3rd Street. There will be food trucks and all. Art Porter Music Education is sponsoring this. Juneteenth in the Rock. You don't want to miss it. That's next Thursday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Jazz concert outside of the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra. Also, Delta for Women in Action presents From Data to Doors, Empowering Black Voter Mobilization. This free two-part training series is open to the public. Everyone has equal opportunity and access to join us virtually and drive impactful voter engagement through data, education, mobilization, and organization. Part 1 Data Deep Dive is happening on Thursday, June 11th. That's today, 8 p.m. EST. Should be what is it for us? 9 p.m.? I don't know how that works. But that's happening on today. And then next Thursday, there's a different one. We'll talk about that next Thursday. But part 1 happens today at 8 p.m. EST. And then it's a deep dive into Black voter trends, attitudes, and behavior from hit strategies. And so if you want more information, you can give me a call at 228-236-7440, or you can reach out to Charles at 372-6119, and he will get you in touch with me so that we can make sure you have all the information that you need. Deep Greenwood Ignited, The Hidden Truth of Black Wall Street. It is a play that is happening Friday, June 19th. And Saturday, June 20th. On the 19th, that's at 7 p.m. On the 20th, there's a 3 p.m. and a 7 p.m. show. And featured in this show is Keith Harper. Woo woo! We had him here on the show not too long ago. It's going to be at the Maya Angelou Auditorium at 3101 West Edison Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm super excited about this. Deep Greenwood Ignited. It is a play about the truth about Black Wall Street. Also want you to know that Pyramid Hearn Fine Arts presents Legacy Lyrics and the Local Sound, hosted and curated by Janine Latrice Perez. It's happening every Monday. So this Monday is the 15th. And on this Monday, you've got Chrissy P., you've got Danique Renee, and you've got Brittany B. McFadden. All of this is taking place at 1001 Wright Avenue in Little Rock. It is free and open to the public, and it starts at 6 o'clock p.m. Also want to remind you about the Thursday event. We've been talking about that transitional class of 1972, and they are hosting the college cookout buffet. It's about raising money for scholarships, and it's happening on the 14th from 3 to 5 p.m. The 14th is Sunday, and so that is coming up. We've got guest speakers Wendell Griffin, and you've also got Sheriff-elect Sheriff Higgins. And so those two guest speakers, that's happening on this Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. So I want to make sure that we see your face in the place. I think that's it.
Uh, Before we get started, I just want to give two shout outs this morning. One to my oldest daughter, Tracy, who turned 32 yesterday. Yeah, so I guess it was a birthday. And today, my twins, Tony and Antonio, they turned 24 today. So happy birthday to all three of you. So the show is the workplace, and I'm a union organizer, so a lot of times we talk about the union aspect of the workplace and workers organizing for power, for collective bargaining, to have a seat at the table. But this week, I met quite a few people who are young entrepreneurs. And a lot of times we don't look at these entrepreneurs as being well, they're in the workforce, but we don't look at them. Like this morning on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, I was listening to Rick Ross, who was a guest on their show. And he was talking about the different businesses and the different things that he has created. And he was talking about entrepreneurship. And so a couple of weeks ago, I met this young man. He just walked in the studio. His name is Danny. And we were actually, me and my neighbor Floyd, business card. He's a landscaper and some other things. And we just started talking. And the more we talked, the more I realized that how do we as a community
Towards Scott Street.
support, support young Black entrepreneurs? What are some of the things we can do? The one thing that struck me about Danny was the fact that he was open to listen. My neighbor Floyd is a business owner. He has his own food truck, and he was telling Danny about some of the things he had to go through. But Danny was willing to listen, plus offer some of his ideas into the conversation. And I think sometimes we think about in helping young entrepreneurs, we just think about the money aspect. We sometimes think about the resource, but sometimes we don't realize that one of the greatest resource is the experience that you had, some of the things that you went through, and information that will help. So before we go any farther, I want Danny just to greet you guys and just give a little bit about your story, Danny.
Okay. Hello, my name is Danny. I'm the owner of Grounds Maintenance. I do lawn care, pressure washing, and general cleanups. I started this business because I saw a real need. People want their homes and their properties cleaned up, but sometimes they don't have the time, they don't have the equipment, or they don't have the help in general. And that's what I'm here for. Go again. Hey, my name's Danny, owner of Grounds Maintenance here in Central Arkansas. And we do lawn care, pressure washing, and general cleanups. The reason I started this business is because I saw a real need. I know property owners and business owners sometimes need help with their properties, and they don't have the time, they don't have the equipment, or just the general help to get it done. And that's what I'm here for.
And how did you get started, Danny?
Well, I actually started the business about a year and a half ago. I was in between jobs, and so I was just going around offering my hand where I could. And there were a lot of people that had work to be done, but had no one that they could call to get it done. And so I saw a need and decided to start a business around it.
And so as we were talking, you were telling me the other day about some of the other things that you were involved with,
Mhm.
going to school, trying to, and I know we had a conversation about trying to take education
Mhm.
into what your business model and how that would play out. So how's, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, I'm actually a certified Java developer. I build websites, also some smaller applications. And I would say the biggest way that that's helped me out in my business was one, of course, being able to go out and articulate the help that people needs and articulate the help that I can provide to them.
Okay. And how did you get started?
With the education.
Yeah, with the whole thing. I know you said that uh you felt like there were things that people may need, and
Mhm,
you tried to fill in that space for those things.
mhm.
How did all that get started?
Well, one of my first customers when I started about a year and a half ago was actually a real estate agent here in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I ended up meeting her by happenstance, and she needed some help taking off some old wallpaper. I had never done this before. And she was patient enough to kind of go through it with me and let me learn the process. And then after her, there was just another person in similar situations that had these one-off tasks that needed to be done and no one to do them, no one to call. And so I just started, so I decided to start grounds maintenance to fill that gap.
And and so
We're not talking loud enough.
and so once you start to fill that gap, um, what are some of the things that you've learned in how you have gone about starting your business, business model, and some of the things that you want to incorporate into what you're doing and trying to reach out to people?
Okay. One of the biggest things that I learned is that a lot of the people that actually needs the help can't afford the help or can't access the help. So one thing that I recently started doing was going around and giving out my hand for free for people that actually need it. People with overgrown properties or severely, um, I don't know how to put it, just people that really need the help. It's kind of difficult to identify sometimes, but those people, I just wanted to be there for them.
Okay, and that was one of the conversations that me, you, and my neighbor Floyd was having. And Floyd said something to the effect that, yeah, that's good, but remember that you're in business,
Right.
and sometimes you have to understand that uh, the need to help also falls back on you because you need that you have a need to grow your business, you have a need to uh, get paid for your services. So how do you balance that out?
Well, believe me, I I have heard that side of the argument a few times here recently, and the way I balance it out is surprisingly, while I'm out doing these jobs for free and helping out people in these neighborhoods, other people are watching. So here recently, I've been getting a lot of my customers because they seen me cutting the neighbor's yard that hasn't been cut in 3 months. Or they see me pressure washing this driveway that's looked like this for 20 years. And so it's almost like they feel they feel emboldened to offer me their service at that point. They're like, hey, come over here and do our driveway.
And as a young black man
Mhm.
starting this business and moving forward, what are some of the challenges that you run into? What are some of the obstacles that you have to overcome? I know resources is one thing because you need equipment, you
Right.
need different things. What are some of the challenges and obstacles you face?
I would say the two biggest ones are definitely equipment and clientele. Um, Actually, since I started giving out the free work occasionally, a guy just offered me a backpack leaf blower last week, a Pinstar leaf blower, and things like that actually helps the business progress. But clientele is a whole different ball game. It's kind of hard to be who I am and go around and convince people that I'm bringing value because there's 100 Joe Blows out here offering the same service. They don't know at that moment at their door that I'm different.
And when you said that you're different, so what is something that you believe sets you apart from the other Joe Blows?
Well, I work with this older guy named Mr. Larry, and we were building him a patio. And he came to me one day and he gave me a level, and I was leveling out the post for this patio for about 2 hours. And he said I should have known better than to leave a perfectionist with a level. And that's what separates me. Because when I come out here, I'm not coming out here just to get the job done and get home. I'm coming out here to provide the same service for you that I will provide for myself. I look at every property that I handle as if it was my own. I want to give my best to every property.
And so for other young Black entrepreneurs who had an idea
Mhm.
or who had a vision to create their own business to provide a service to the public, what are some of the things that has helped you that you can give to them to help facilitate this vision and dream?
The number one thing that I can offer anyone trying to do anything, not even just in business, is find your barrier to entry. Because that was the biggest thing for me. The hardest part of anything is starting. So if you find your barrier to entry and you attack that, then you've already won half of the battle.
So explain that barrier to entry.
Okay. So for me, in my particular case, the barrier to entry was equipment, right? I had this idea, I knew what I could provide to the world, but I didn't have the tools necessary to start. And some people will kick the can down the road for years and say, "Oh, I'll start once I get the equipment." Well, I just pivoted and said, "This is now my goal. My goal for the foreseeable future is get this equipment. Everything else becomes secondary because I need this to get started. And starting is half the battle."
Uh, last night, I watched this documentary
Mhm.
about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh yeah.
The on HBO, the founder of the group, Maurice White,
Mhm.
and he talked about how every day he wrote down affirmations.
Mhm.
You know that he wrote down his vision. That every day he wrote down what he envisioned to happen.
Mhm.
You know, so there was always in front of him. It was always there, and I know that's something that a lot of business people, a lot of successful people will tell you. You have to affirm yourself in something.
Mhm.
Are those things that you do? Is that something that you
I
do?
have about 5 notebooks full of plans and goals and affirmations and just things that keep me going because I'm a big writer. It's something about putting pen to paper and being able to get my thoughts out of my head and into the real world.
Any questions, Denise?
I just want to know how people can contact you if they wanted to get something done.
So I'm on all social media platforms as Grounds Maintenance. I'm on Facebook as Danny Phillips. And you can also find me at my website, argrounds.com.
And, 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 and as we were talking that day in my neighborhood, and what really caught my attention was, like I said earlier, the fact that you're willing to listen. you know, and we're willing to listen to you know your some of your ideas. And I think that's one of the things that happens a lot is that you have people who believe that, well, you need to do it this way. You need to do it this way.
Mhm.
And I think part of being community, part of helping others is being willing to share information across both sides.
Correct.
Yeah. Let me take this call. Call you on the air. Call.
Hello?
Hello.
Are you there?
Yes, caller.
Hi, this is Chloe.
That's one of them scam calls. Even I don't know about anybody else. I get about 30 of those a day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. About things that it's just crazy. But you talked about your mentor, Mr. Larry. Are there other mentors in your life? Are there other people who are willing to invest
Mhm.
in your dream? And I think a lot of times when people hear that word invest, they automatically think about money or sometimes resources and material things. But I think one of the greatest, don't get me wrong, yes, you need the finances to move forward. But the greatest resource, one of the greatest resources to me is the experience of somebody else and the information of somebody else that they're
Mhm.
willing to share. I think a lot of times, especially in the Black community, sometimes uh, we hold on to our information because if I give it to you, then you may grow bigger than me, or you may take my information,
Yeah.
the information I give you, and you become something that I'm not.
Mhm.
So, do you have a community of people willing to invest in you with their experience?
Yes, sir. It's actually just getting started. It's slow growing, but it's growing. That's what matters. I actually was introduced to this guy named Rob, who has been a major help to me. And then he introduced me to a guy named Mark, who's actually in the field that I'm in. So he takes me out on jobs with him and lets me see how the industry works. You know, how to do things on a job a certain way and maintain professionalism. So that has actually been a huge help to me. Rob and Mark.
Call you on there.
Good morning to y'all and all your listeners.
Good morning.
You know, I'm not no mathematician and all that, but I realize that sometimes we get so individualized, we seem to think that we don't need other people. People need people to survive, you know. And I look at y'all people, entrepreneurs, the ideas. Then basically, when you look back, always come from a younger person bringing in something new. Because you have to destroy something to make something new. Destructive energy is good when you use it right. You use it the right way. And if you understand what you are good at, if you are good at being a challenger, you can make millions of dollars just with what you can do, and you can take it as far as you want because that is your gift, talent that you have. And don't let nobody discourage you from it. Thank you.
Here's a question from Lo. He says, we know that all businesses want to be successful. So what comparison is the success of the individual versus the collective? We know that all businesses want to be a success. So what comparison is the success of the individual versus the success of the collective?
Could you elaborate just a little bit?
I think what if I can understand, Lo, you write us back if this is not right. What I feel like he's saying is, as an entrepreneur, then you want to make sure that this is your livelihood. Like this is how you're going to live your life. This is how you're going to take care of your family. This is how you feed your children. You need this money. It's your business. Like it's what you do.
Mhm.
And that is all about you and your whole family and your whole life. But there's a whole collective of folks, and let's just say the black community, who also wants to grow with you, right?
Mhm.
Because we're going to be your we're going to be the ones that call on you for services, right? So we're going to be your clients. We're going to be your clientele. So then how then do you parlay what you're doing for yourself in such a way that it also affects positively the collective, the community?
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Well, when I'm out doing these free jobs, you know, um, I'm not out on Chanel. You know, I'm right here in the neighborhoods. I'm right over here behind Mars Booker Elementary. Um, especially my people. If I see that my people needs help, then I'm there. I'm there. I'm making a spot on the schedule for them specifically.
Now, did you say argrounds.com is your website?
argrounds.com. Yes, ma'am.
And for my next question, Danny, you talked about, so there's another aspect uh, to your journey,
Mm.
and you talked about your the educational side, and we talked about some other things you're doing, and I want to get this right, that you are, I don't want to software, but you develop things on the tech side,
Yeah.
correct? That's the best way for me to say it.
Yeah, so I'm a certified Java developer. The website that people are going to go to see my business, AR Grounds, I actually built that. I also built a website for my grandmother that isn't public just yet, but it will be here soon. I build applications. I build video games with my son. So yeah.
I don't see you on this website. I don't see you anywhere on here. Like, so is it that you want it to be blanket? You don't want people to know that you're black. You don't want people to know, like, you don't want them to, have any kind of biases when they're calling you. Like, so because I don't see you anywhere. And so
That makes sense. I didn't really think about it like that, but subconsciously maybe. Subconsciously maybe I wanted people to take in the business before they took me in, I guess.
I can see that.
And 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 and, and I think especially for young black entrepreneurs, well, I think for black entrepreneurs, period. I think that's one of the hurdles or challenges, however you want to frame it. I think that's the thing that a lot of times that we have to think about, that we shouldn't have to think about, is that uh, hopefully they'll look at the business and not look at me, because the minute they see my face,
Yeah.
then there's a bias,
Yeah.
and I think one of the things that is so difficult for black businesses is that all these biases and misconceptions, all these different pre program or trained stereotypes that they have about black uh, businesses or black people. I think that plays in, and so it shouldn't be that
True.
I don't put my face on my business, because that might discourage people.
Mm.
So and a minute ago when you said that subconsciously
Hmm.
that may have happened, how do you feel personally about, how do I get past that? How do I move past, even though I know this is something that's part of it, society, how do I get past that?
Well, honestly, I think that there is a relatively simple solution. There's 140,000 people in Little Rock, Arkansas. A good majority of those people are black people. I'm a black man. You know, even if I just did business with my people, there's more than enough to support my business and every other black owned business. The issue comes in where people don't trust black business owners because they don't think that we're going to bring the same level of professionalism as another company, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like um, the the phrase or the idea that I'd rather go across the street
Mhm.
to a white business and get ice than the cross over to those street, other side of the street, and get ice from a black business. Now it's the same ice, but
Same
for
ice.
some reason, the ice sold at the white establishment is better than the ice sold at the black establishment.
Exactly.
I don't think you're gonna be able to do anything about that because it has to be up to the person who wants the services to decide that this is the type of business person I want to work with me. I know that's the decision that I've made, that I'm gonna patronize black businesses. Now, just because it's a decision I've made, if you don't come to me excellently, then I'm not gonna patronize you again. It's real simple. So when you say it's a simple solution, if you show up as excellent and you do excellent work, then there's not gonna be a problem with people referring you because word of mouth to me is the best advertisement. And so that's not gonna be a problem. So I don't think that you can do anything about whether or not they'll choose you first because they have to make that up in their minds. But I know I just got through working with Ezekiel's granddaughter, and when I say she showed up as excellent from day one, I'm talking about getting out the car, like she recognized the assignment and she produced. And I have no problem screaming it from the mountaintops that if you need a realtor, this is where you go. And so I just don't want you to think that that's something like you have to convince people to want you because either they're gonna want you or they're not, right? But once they get you, then they won't let you go.
Yeah. So giving that excellent work up front is definitely a solution.
And so Denise,
Giving people a reason to believe. Yeah.
call you in there.
One quick thing, I wanted to ask him, do he do laundry thing? What is he actually doing? Because if he do, I want to give him my number. I say it because his attitude about his work, going like that level, I'm like that too. And I'm just being honest, it's kind of hard to get. It's kind of hard to get people. I'm just giving you now. I took a bill to a shop I won't name. And I never got my blower back. I went back and they looking and looking for my blower gone. He said, well, come back next week. See, that ain't business to me. I'm on my, I run into that. I'm just being honest. I'm not going to knock my people. But sometimes I have had people put down certain things in my house and they bragging about what they got. I don't care nothing about what you got. What I'm about you to do is like they trying to impress me. You can impress me. I just want to work there. We have that attitude about the post thing, and we need to change our business styles. I'm just being honest with you about it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, you didn't give us that number.
Yeah,
So here's a question. No, here's a statement from Lowe. That's not the case when a black face is working in a white establishment. If a product is good, no matter what the face, the product will sell. And I think again it goes back to mindset because I think that when white people go into establishments, they go in for the service. Again, it's about the service. It's not about who giving the service. It's about the service. Period. We're the ones who sometimes put a certain face on what we want, who we want to serve us, or whatever that is about. But maybe you said your name is Danny, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perhaps you can give us your number if people want to reach out.
Oh, yeah. So I do provide pressure washing and landscaping services, and we do take on side projects if they fit well with what I do. But my phone number is 501-961-0788. That's 870.
Wait now, because you done said
Yeah,
501.
He hit me with a good question when it threw me off. That's what.
Oh, my bad.
501-961-0788. Sorry about that.
No worries.
and you can always call me at 501-247-3869. I do have his number, and I can give it to you. And so, Denise, what are some, and I think that's why I wanted to create the space for when I see young black, especially young black entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
I know as a business person, what are some of the things you may be able to offer to Dan, some ideas or some experiences you have. I know one that that we have talked about before, that there's no lesson uh that a bought lesson is.
Oh, ain't no sense like bought sense.
Yes,
Ain't no sense.
yes.
That's what my daddy taught me. I think about something that you said. I keep thinking about something that you said earlier about how there are some jobs that you do that are free of charge. And I think Tony's neighbor was at Floyd. Was it Floyd? Was asking, just kind of cautioning you to make sure that you end up making money. That you don't spend it on your money, giving away your services. But this is my philosophy in life. I feel like the way that the posture of my hand now in giving you something is the same posture that my hand is in to receive something. And so as long as I'm giving, I'm also going to be receiving because I'm in the same posture, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to underscore you about there. You got to spend money to make money. And I'm not even talking about that from a business sense. I'm talking about it just, again, underscoring what you said earlier. When they see me, because that's how I've gotten every one of my, every person that has ever mowed my lawn. That's how I've gotten them. I've seen them out mowing and I've stopped and said, hey, are you taking new customers? They either gonna say yes or no. They say yes, they come out, they take a look, blah, blah, blah. And depending on how they handle me, depends on whether or not I call them back. Right. But that's how I've gotten each one of them. So I just wanted to continue to uplift that understanding of giving and receiving and not just trying to hoard it all for your own family.
Right. I think that a lot of times that the money aspect stops a lot of businesses from growing. Even though you definitely need to make money to grow, people don't know you. And just because you're a business or because you have a business doesn't mean people will support you.
Right.
And that was a mistake that I made. For the first year, I was thinking that if I just went around knocking on doors, telling people I'm providing a service, give me your money, that they were going to do it. And that's not how business works. You have to be able to demonstrate your value. You don't go buy a product from Walmart because they just opened up yesterday. You go buy a product from them because they've been doing this for about 100 years now, or you don't go to the guy that you seen cutting the yard just because he's out there cutting the yard. You go because you like the work that you've seen him providing.
And so my next question is, where do you see yourself? What? No, let me go back, because this was a question that we had on Tuesdays on Community Voices with Garber Garber Hearns, pyramid fine what pyramid fine
Pyramid
art.
art, books and custom framing along with Hearn Fine Gallery.
Okay. About success. You know, how do you find the success? How do you look at success? What is success to you? And my question to you is that same question. How do you define the success of your business?
So I would define the success of my business as it reaching a point to where it can not only take care of itself because before it can take care of me, it needs to be able to take care of itself. But taking care of itself and then taking care of me and my family and then taking care of other people that need to be taken care of. That's what I would define success is. When my business is big enough to say, hey, you need a job, come and help. Or if there's another Black business owner that needs customers, hey, you need customers, we have customers in excess, you know? That's what I would define success is. Jay-Z made a quote, and it goes like, nobody wins when the family feuds. So if I'm the only business owner in Arkansas getting 100,000 customers, then that means that the rest of them are starving because there's only 140,000 people here. So success is when this business can not only take care of me, but take care of everyone, when it can grow and support other people.
Hey, caller, you on there? Caller?
Do you have a vision for I was thinking about, you said something about having a mentor, and this is your own business. I was thinking about other young Black men, women, gender nonconforming siblings who might be interested in the work that you do. So do you think about having an arm someday where you are bringing them on as apprentices to show them the work and just to kind of mold and make them, and then help them, nurture them into their own businesses as well?
That's kind of what I was touching on. So like I have cousins that come out and help me sometimes that are in between work. And it's like they may not know how to pressure wash, or they may not know how to cut grass or weed eat. And so me being able to bring them out on jobs for me when I can gives them a skill. You know, that they don't have to go to Job Corps. They can learn a skill that can provide for them for the rest of their life, teaching them how to fish instead of giving them fish.
Yeah, and um, I think as Black people, there was a time where that's what we did. We had no other choice. You know, that we would, you know, you had uncles, you had, you know, your father, you had grandfather, you had people in the community, you know, as little, you know, that would take you as a little, you know, as a kid or a child, teenager, say, hey, you're going to work with me, you
Yeah.
know, and they would teach you bricklaying, they would
Yeah.
teach you plumbing, you know, so that you could learn that skill and move on. And when you look at other cultures now, especially when you start looking at landscaping,
Yeah.
you know, you would see other cultures come in and they would bring their uh, children, they would bring their relatives, and they would go and they would work and learn this skill. Then they would branch off and start their own
Yeah.
business. And I like what you said about you envision that be a situation where now I can teach, others can come in, can teach them, and they can grow. So that lets me know that um, you're not afraid of somebody else teaching somebody else to go and become something else.
Yes.
And I think that's one thing that hinders a lot of people or a lot of uh, businesses, that if somebody is good within that business, I think a lot of times we want to hold on to them. We don't want to let them stretch out.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and I think one of the things that we need to do is once we teach, then let them go out and teach.
Yes. Exactly. I agree. I believe that may be one of the things that we're missing in the Black community. That ladder system. You know, someone helps you climb up, and then you become the ladder for the next person to climb up. We're all trying to keep each other at a base level or at the ground level, and it stops our progression.
Yeah, I think that we have bought into the notion that if I congratulate you, if I celebrate you, that's gonna dim my shine. And so I want to make sure that I don't give you too much, because I don't want you to go too far, because I don't want you to do better than I have done. But the greatest lesson that I think I've ever learned was when I was a student intern pastor at Christ United Methodist Church of the Deaf up in Baltimore, Maryland. And my mentor pastor, when we walked into a room, we were teaching some children, some students who are deaf and hard of hearing and blind. When we walked in, she bowed before them. That's the first thing she did. She bowed before them and she said, I have no idea who in this room is going to go on to do greater things. And so I honor you right now. And that was the best lesson I ever could have been taught, because I don't think anybody else can dim your shine. What God has for you is for you. And as long as you are living within your purpose, you don't have to worry about somebody else coming along and taking it, because they can't have it because it's yours.
Exactly.
And so I think that that's our problem. We're so busy worried about the zero sum game. I can't give you too much, because if I give it to you, then I ain't gonna have it. And it's more than enough to go around for everybody. You said it.
Yeah.
In a city of 144,000, all of us can have clients. Right?
Exactly.
All
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
and I think you said something that is so important.
I know.
It's purpose. Yeah, I think sometimes we don't, a lot of people don't take the time to invest in their purpose or invest in finding out what their purpose is. So a lot of times there may be creativity in someone, there may be ingenuity in someone, there may be ideas in someone, but because we don't take the time, that person doesn't take the time to um, develop that purpose, it seems like you end up just spinning your wheels. How did you come up with your purpose? How did you say this is what I want to do?
Well, I have kids. And so when my first son was born in 2017, I had a very surreal realization. I realized that I had nothing of value to give him, nothing of real value. And so my mission ever since then was to create something of value to leave behind for my children.
So that's interesting because when you say value, are you talking about in a materialistic way
No,
or just in a internal